Hi, my name is Jennifer Lopp, for those of you that do not know me, and I am your child's dyslexia therapist this year. I wanted to touch base with you just to quickly go over what we might do in my classroom each day, as well as their daily practice folder. And so each one of your children will come to my room for 45 minutes, 5 days a week. And the only time that they will not attend therapy sessions with me is if they have something very special going on in their classroom, maybe a holiday party or a field trip, or something that is very important, like a benchmark test or something along those lines. So, for the most part, they will come to see me every day. When they come to see me, we go over several different skills within the therapy session. And so I take a multisensory approach to where I try to speak to all of their senses as I'm teaching. So that very explicit multisensory approach really speaks to that differentiation that they need for their dyslexic type brain. And so when they come, we'll do things where they have to see it, hear it, touch it, say it, and manipulate it with their fingers. And so one of the things that they have trays that have sound pictures on them that they may manipulate as we go through the phonics and the phonemic awareness pieces. Then they also have alphabet tiles that they will use whenever we go through the alphabet and the letter piece. And then they will also be using their handwriting and their binders, as well as their other lesson pieces that's located in those lesson in those lessons in their binder. So each day they will come to me and that we will go over phonemic awareness, which is the sounds of the letters, and then phonics, how do we apply those sounds to make words, and then we'll go over accuracy and fluency of their reading. And then we will do vocabulary and, of course, comprehension, because the ultimate goal of reading is to comprehend whatever we're reading. And so we have seen that based on research and studies, that for a non-dyslexic brain, it usually takes about 10 to 50 times for it to be retained when we practice. For a student or an adult with a dyslexic brain, it takes upwards of 300 times, sometimes more, for them to retain something that has been learned. And so having that extra practice and building on those skills each day during therapy is so very important. It's also important that we carry through in the evening time, that short term memory when we recall what we had done that day during therapy with our parents or with a loved one. It also helps for them to retain that information that they had learned. So, speaking of which, they come home each day with a daily practice folder, and so their name will be located across the top. Some things that stay in their practice folder is, of course, what's being stapled in or inside their sheet protectors. So this yellow piece right here is just the expectation of the practice folder. And then this right here has their name, their ID, their username and password for programs like Learning Ally and Read Naturally. These are great programs that's geared towards children with dyslexia, and it helps them to practice read. It reads to them, and they are skill based, and they progress as they progress throughout the program. So it's based on what their skill capabilities are. And so they're more than welcome to practice that at home. We will pull these pieces, these programs into our daily lessons about every couple of weeks, because it gives me a good reading of where they may be and how they are applying their knowledge from our lessons during therapy to these program pieces. Okay, so within the folder, you have what we call instant words. Instant words are words that we can read in an instant, right? And so we might remember them as sight words. And so we're learning the first 100 and the second 100 by Christmas time, depending on where your child is and their abilities. And so that will stay within their folder, and you can practice those daily or weekly with your child. And then another thing that I included was their approach strokes for their lowercase cursive letters. We learned how to write cursive in our therapy sessions because for a child that has dyslexia, cursive is so much easier to be able to write because you don't have the stop, think, write that you do with print. You have to stop and begin each single letter. And with cursive, it's a continuous flow. So that stop and rethink piece is not as harsh. And it also eliminates a lot of times those reversals whenever they're writing print. And so the approach strokes, there's only 4 approach strokes when it comes to cursive. And so if you kind of take a look, it tells you which letters in that family um, fall within that approach stroke. So, for instance, the first one is swing up, stop. So you swing up and you stop before you continue the rest of the letter. The second one is push up and over. So if you notice, you're going to push up and over before you finish the rest of the letter. And it's just the beginning strokes, what we call the approach stroke. This is how you approach the letter. The next one is the curve under, over, and stop. And so you're going to curve under, over, stop, and then you're going to finish the letter. Okay, and these are the letters that fall in that family. The very last one is the curve way up and loop left. And so you curve way up and you begin to loop left to form these letters. Okay, and so this is what I'll be teaching them within the class period, as well as what do we do to finish the letter. So I just wanted to share those approach strokes with you. And then on the back are the capital letters. I don't go into capital letters too much within the therapy session at this point, but I do want them to have them so that they can recall them when they're writing sentences, because sentences begin with a capital letter. Their name begins with a capital letter. I told them if they wanted to practice writing their family names using those capital letters and the lowercase letters from the other side, that would be great. And so I just wanted to have that available to them as well. Within their classrooms, I've provided them and their teachers with a frequently misspelled word list. And so their classroom teachers will have those as well. It's a list full of words that are commonly used whenever they're writing. And if they learn a new vocabulary word or they continuously struggle with a particular word, they can add that to their list. Okay, so handwriting and their homework. So let me go over their homework with you just very quickly. I don't want to take up too much more of your time with this video. And so each day we do handwriting practice. So for instance, if we are learning the letter R, then I have them trace the letter R with their finger 2 times after I've taught them how to write it with the approach strokes and things. Then they trace the letter R 2 times. They come across the page, name and make a copy, and they say R, and they write the R. Then they go below, name and make another copy, and they say R. Then we do a couple of activities, and then I have them write their last copy while they say R. And so what their homework is, I'll have them mark it HW, which stands for homework, and they're going to write 5 times 5 times at the bottom. So they have to practice writing their letter 5 times each on each line. Okay, and then they will have a page called a code and read. So not only do they learn their letters, but we learn why do the letters make particular sounds within words. And then I teach them how to code those sounds within each one of their words. And so we'll code several of them together, and then typically I'll have them circle one, and they will code that and read it to me. And so if you want to just go over those sentences, practice reading those sentences. If they're able to explain to you the coding, fantastic. If they're not, it's okay. We're going to continue working on it throughout the year, okay? But that reading piece is very important. Speaking of reading, they have what we call a wrap page, okay? And so a wrap page looks like this. And so RAP means rate of accelerated practice. And so this is where we work on fluency and accuracy. We want them to get the word 100% correct and become quicker as they read the words. We usually read in columns on this page. And so sometimes you'll see differences between the top column, the middle column, and then there's usually a blend of the columns down at the bottom. And so we will have read whichever RAP I decided on, I'll have them circle it. And so you'll know which one we worked on in class. There's usually 2 to 3 extra RAP pages, and you're more than welcome to practice those at home. But if you want to just do the one that we did in class and see if you can get that accuracy 100% and get them to read it quicker. I don't want them speed reading like you hear at the end of medication commercials, but we do want them to read naturally and just a little quicker without that stopping and having to study and decode the word. That's the goal. Okay. And so that's the RAP page. Those are the 3 things that you'll see coming home in their homework. Okay, so in the email, you also saw that I shared a slideshow with you about dyslexia and how the dyslexia brain may work and the signs that we may see when it comes to dyslexia or dysgraphia. I encourage you to watch that or read that slideshow, share it with anybody that you think may benefit from that. I also included some links to some other resources for parents, as well as a new art competition that's coming up for dyslexic children. And so I believe the state of Texas is sponsoring that. And so you have to have your art piece in by December 1st. So I sent that home in their homework folder. You will see that. Read up on it. You can do some research on it. The kids seem pretty excited. Many of them enjoy art. And it's something that is fantastic for them because it's not such a struggle. And so if they want to participate in that, you can either send it to me and I'll send it off for you, or it has a link for you to scan it and send it via email, or you can also mail it yourself to the address that's shown on that form. So if you have any questions throughout the year, please let me know. You will also hear from me towards the end of each 9 weeks. I will be sending you a progress report. Other than that, if you ever need me, just give me a call, or you can email me at jlott, L-O-T-T, at pilotpointisd.com. I hope that you have a wonderful school year with your child, and I look forward to many more days with them. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.